We'll go ahead and get started. First question, Kelly.
Hey, Coach, just how impressed have you been with Victor being able to find his groove so quickly with the new team? Obviously, he's coming to a new environment, new system, but particularly in the fourth quarter and the second half, he was able to get going downhill, pick and roll, just attacking in transition.
Yeah, he the way that we play, I think, is perfect for him. He has the ball about half the time that he's in the game. Other times he's off the ball and coming off screens and turning the corner. And then when we're sharing the ball and getting it moved, he gets open spot ups. So that's good. But what's impressive from my perspective is his defensive intensity, technique, all of those things that make a good defensive player and contribute to a good defensive team. We obviously started the game off giving up 32 points, but doing a good job of only allowing 69 after that. He contributed to it with his defense, but it was a team job, and he's been really good since he's been here, and we look for that to continue.
Jonathan Fagan.
Yeah, on the subject of defense, you've been talking about really probably since the introductory press conference about being versatile. Was this maybe the best example of that this year, of being able to defend in a variety of ways?
Yeah, we did a little bit of everything tonight. We were in our drops, we were in blitzes, we switched. We did a little bit of everything because they're so hard to guard. I mean, Lillard is one of the hardest guys to prepare for in the league because there's things that you can do it perfect, and he's still gonna make the shot, or they're gonna set the screen up at half court, and he's gonna be 3 steps inside of half court and make the three. So we had to be versatile tonight in order for us to get stops. So mixing, matching, switching with blitzing, with standard coverage was good for us, and we have to continue to do it in order to be a good defensive team, especially against great players like him, because if they see the same coverage over and over and over again, they'll just tear it up.
You did a lot of that in the small ball lineup, but to have Christian Wood be able to both blitz and switch as a center, how much does that enable you to do some of those things?
It does. I mean, it's great for him to use his length. He really has a good knack for not crowding too much, but not being too far back, or just being in the right spot defensively where he can use his length and distract, or at least affect the offensive player, but then get out and blitz and create some steal opportunities for us, and he was able to do both tonight. And like I said, we're work in progress. We're kind of learning on the fly and throwing things in slowly but surely. But yeah, his versatility defensively is good right now, but it could really be something special.
Adam Spalding.
Steven, in the first quarter, you had Christian and DeMarcus basically split minutes. Was that kind of the plan going in, and did Christian's level of play make it impossible for you to take him off the floor?
Yeah, Christian was playing great. The plan going in was, let's kind of split their minutes. I wanted to have a stretch where they were both on the floor together. I think it was a short stretch, but I wanted to do that so I could see kind of what it looked like. And it really depends on who we're playing against, what the matchups look like, and that sort of thing. But Christian was good, and he was just so efficient, and that stretch where we kind of got the lead in hand, but then obviously they came back after that. But when we stretched it out a little bit, he was so good in that stretch, like making little floaters in the paint and stretching the defense and making plays on both ends of the floor. So to have both guys is really, really good for our depth.
What was it about this matchup that made you want to try the two centers together?
It wasn't necessarily the matchup tonight. I did feel that Christian could try to guard Carmelo a little bit because he's mostly a post-up player some. So to have him down there and then have Cuz on the 5 made it a possibility. But, that's something that I just have to keep looking at going forward, if it makes sense.
Cody Davis.
Hey, Coach. Can you talk about your team's ability to fight through adversity? Your team was down really big in the first half, fought their way back, and the same thing late in the fourth quarter, and they were still able to come out with a win.
Yeah, I mean, the guys have grit and they're determined. And like you said, the adversity part is something that we've been talking a lot about and making sure that I think early in the season, adversity would hit and we would succumb to that adversity. But tonight we did a great job of taking that adversity, putting forth the correct energy to fight back. And then it's the guys, it's Tuck coming up with big defensive play, a huge tip in, great box outs when we needed them. It's Nawaba coming in and getting that block shot towards the end of the game. It's Victor and John staying on the attack, staying in on both ends of the floor. They were attacking. So it's very much the personality of the team and the players that allow us to deal with adversity in the way that we did tonight.
Zach Allen.
Hey, Coach. During the pregame, we talked about different type of zones you were going to throw at Damian Lillard. Tonight, y'all were disciplined. How disciplined do you think y'all were in y'all's approach in blitzing and picking up at the top of the key and throwing different things at him and keeping the man-to-man coverage on him?
Yeah, we were okay. At the beginning of the game, we weren't good at all. But we got it together. And like I said, I don't think we brought the correct energy to the first quarter of the game. And that's one of the things that we've been doing in the first 3 games of the streak that we have going right now. But we got it together and it was better. And Christian was up and blitzing and we were able to kind of rotate out and they were making shots out of the rotations, but we were willing to live with some of that, knowing that Lillard had to give the ball up. So it's definitely a work in progress and we're still trying to find ourselves as far as our rotations and just being on it at the beginning of the game. But it was definitely a good thing to have that adaptability throughout the game.
We'll take 2 more. Ali Kampajani.
Hey, Steven. Besides the second quarter where Christian went 5 for 5, in that third quarter, the Blazers tried to throw out a few traps at him. After the first few times, he started getting aggressive and get going there. How important is it for him to be aggressive, especially when teams are throwing different things at him and before they can kind of set back up in their rotations and be decisive?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important for him to be aggressive, for us to be good. And if he's not aggressive, he's not drawing the second defender. He's not putting pressure on the paint. He's not really helping us, helping the other guys play to their strengths. So for him, he definitely has to be aggressive. And they started blitzing the pick and roll some, and he was finding the pocket and making the right play, whether it's score or pass. So as he continues to play well and put up the numbers that he's putting up, he's going to see some defenses that are geared towards stopping him. And as long as he's making the play and staying aggressive, I'm good with it.
And last question, Brian Bearfield.
Coach, don't laugh at me when I say this is going to sound corny, but can you talk about the wow factor tonight with Wood, Oladipo, and Wall? They combined for 67 points.
Is that a thing? The wow factor. I like it. Wood, Oladipo, and Wall. Yeah, I mean, they obviously all scored over 20 points, but it was the defensive end that I was really satisfied with. And that's going to be something that I continue to talk about with this group because we're finding that we could be a really good defensive team, and our offense has to come along. And we have to, in order for us to win, like we have been for the last 4 games, it really is a defensive mindset that all 3 of those guys, that the wow factor has to be on the defensive end, and that'll take care of the offensive end if we're doing it correctly. That's
Thank
good.
you.
That's pretty good.
Thank you, Coach.